Hi, this is Lydia. Welcome to my new episode. In this episode, I'm sharing 10 lessons that changed how I understand health and how I approach my own healthy habits. So, I recently graduated from my first 2 years of my new bachelor university degree as a certified health coach. This study is called Health Science at the University of Bruges and is quite a progressive bachelor degree because you cannot actually find this degree everywhere in the world because a lot of times health is more focused on care and on medicine. And my study is focused on preventive health, healthy habits, healthy behavior, and preventive health. And this is actually quite a progressive new team in university degrees. And I already have my degree as an occupational therapist, so I'm a therapist already, and I gave therapy in multiple settings. For example, in the psychiatric hospital when I was working with people with anxiety and depression. And the reason why I chose this study is because I feel that health is my biggest passion in my life, and I have learned so much about different health topics, and I really feel that my calling in this life is to help people with their health in a way that actually works. And I already knew so much about health because it has been my passion for so many years, and I felt that I really needed a really good certificate and a really good education to become the best health coach I could ever be. And I actually did my first 2 years of this bachelor degree in 1 year. It was quite an intensive year because I still have my business too. But luckily, I'm a good student, and I just wanted to finish this bachelor degree as soon as possible so I can become the best health coach for you. Anyway, enough about that. I'm going to share you 10 lessons that I found really interesting for you that I want to share that I learned in my first 2 years of my bachelor degree as a health coach. And I will share more lessons with you in a second episode about the second year. I'm now gonna focus on the first year because there's so many good stuff. I don't want to overwhelm you. You know what I find really interesting is that I really feel that this whole first year of my degree was really understanding more about healthy behavior in itself, and that becoming more healthy is not about more knowledge, right? It is really about having more insights on how health works, on how health transformation works. And I think the most lessons are going to be about this, about understanding better on how to become more healthy instead of having more knowledge. The first thing that I learned when I started this degree is that health is such an abstract term, and it's not just the absence of illness. We often think that as long as you're not sick, then you're healthy. But there's multiple ways to look at this because health can have really different meanings per person. Maybe some of you who are listening have a chronic disease. You could have an autoimmune disease. You could have or you had some surgery or something. So technically, you wouldn't be healthy. But if you live a healthy life where you are working out, eating healthy, doing stress management, have good sleep, and so on, you'll probably have lots of life quality and lots of energy. And this is what health is. And maybe somebody else who doesn't have an illness or didn't have surgery maybe feels much less because they are not working out, they are not eating healthy, they are having really bad sleeping habits, I don't know. And then for them, this is another definition of health. So having a healthy life really means having quality in your life, because being healthy will have impact on multiple aspects of your life. And if you're healthy, you feel better mentally, you feel better physically, you'll have more energy, and everything in your life is gonna become more easy to handle and more fun and light. And this is very important to understand. This is what health is. That said, I also want to have my more personal insight about this, because this is what I learned in my study. But I also feel that for me, health is not just about being or surviving or not being sick. I think what we want to have in our life is optimal health. This is a word I really like to use, because optimal health means that you're just not sick, but you actually have a lot of energy and your body is functioning really well. So that when you become sick, your body is like totally okay to handle it. Maybe you are even battling some bacteria or whatever, and you don't even realize it because you're having enough sleep and you're having the right nutrition that works as medicine. So your whole life is so healthy that you are in such optimal health that even when something happens in your life, you bounce back very easily from that because you have basic optimal health. So, yeah, that's what health means for me. So, number 2, one of the most important lessons that I learned is that health is not knowledge. And knowing what is healthy rarely is really going to change your behavior. And this is one of the biggest misunderstanding. For example, maybe you have a health question and you're going to ask this health question to ChatGPT or another AI chatbot, and you're gonna get information. But often having more information is not gonna change your pattern or is not gonna change your behavior. It is much more complicated to change health. So knowing what is healthy actually is just like step number 1, but actually being healthy requires much more. Because information, the line from information to action, it doesn't automatically go that way. It's really important to know if I want to create a habit, how do I need to create this habit, and what sort of influences or factors are there in my life. How is my environment supporting me? How is my confidence and my motivation? What are the social norms around me? How do I feel about change? So these are all things that are really important to reflect on and to understand and then to implement in our life. So often we know that something is healthy. For example, maybe we know that eating healthy is important and we should eat less sugar. But that's easier said than done. A lot of us struggle with eating too much sugar, and it's not that easy. It's really about understanding how behavior works and how addiction works too. Why are we eating sugar? What is the reason? How can we do something? How can we change the root cause? And what other pattern do we need instead? And how can we go from A to B? This is really important. So please don't just focus on knowledge if you want to be healthy. Okay, you probably heard me say this third one before because it's one of my biggest stepping stones, but it's not about being motivated. We think that the road from being unhealthy to being healthy, that everything is going to be solved by motivation. And yes, for sure, motivation is important because if you're not important, you won't even start the process of change. The problem is that motivation is not a consistent feeling. It is inconsistent. Sometimes you are motivated to be healthy, and other days you don't want to prioritize it. Maybe you don't care, maybe you're feeling emotional, you may be like whatever. And so this motivation is not something reliable for you to build a consistency. So we need a combination of multiple factors. We need motivation, we need social and a supporting social environment, and also a supporting physical environment. We need help and accountability. We need to make healthy behavior easy, enjoyable, rewarding. There's so many things that we need to do next to being motivated. Okay, the next one is a really interesting one. I love this one. And this is one, okay, I'm just gonna dive into it immediately. Number 4. Your environment influences your habits a lot more than you do. What I find interesting is when you look at health transformation or health coaching, we often think that this is an individual process and an individual accountability and responsibility and blah blah blah. Very American vision that everything is your fault, you need to change everything, and so on. But actually, our environment has such a big impact. And I'm not just talking about the house you live in. I'm talking about everything in your environment. For example, you can have a negative environment. Maybe you are living in an area that's always noisy, that the people you live with are not healthy. Maybe you don't have the right kitchen equipment in your house to eat healthy. Maybe your stores nearby, they sell a lot of candy and have a lot of unhealthy food on promotion. Maybe your running shoes are laying on the attic instead of your room, and so on. So these are all like negative impacts that will affect your health in a negative way, often even without you even realizing that. So actually, the convenience of health, the availability of healthy options, the visibility, the affordability of healthy options are really going to shape our choices. If you would go to the local organic store where fruits and veggies are really important, where organic whole foods are really important and are the main available resources there, the chances of us buying more fresh fruit and more whole foods is a lot bigger than if we go to some supermarket that has a lot of promotions on chocolate and candy and pastry stuff, and maybe we are more seduced to buy this unhealthy stuff. I can give you like hundreds of examples of this, but let's make it very practical here. What I think that is important is that I put my gym clothes next to my door. The bag is there. Everything I need is inside. So the only thing I need to do is grab the bag and go outside. I don't even need to make my bag anymore. I don't even need to motivate myself to make the bag anymore. It's ready. I put it there. It's automatic. This is gonna remind me every time I see the bag that I need to go to the gym. Or I want to go to the gym, actually. So yeah, big impact on your health is your environment. Okay, so another one, number 5. This is all about holistic health. This is not a term that we use in my university degree. I think holistic somehow is not really an accepted term. It sounds too not evidence-based. But honestly, like this is what it means. So we are often looking at health in different aspects. So we are looking at food separately, we're looking at sleep separately, stress management, and then we have movement, and maybe we also have like spiritual health or social health. And we all see this as different aspects in our lives. And unfortunately, when you're looking at like classic medicine, You have to go to nutrition for food, you have to go to a physiotherapist for movement, you have to go to a sleep therapist for sleep, and you have to go to, I don't know, like a meditation class for stress management. So these are all different disciplines for different health aspects. But this is what is interesting in my job, is that I am gonna be intertwining all of these together, because often, for example, if you have like bad sleep, your sleep is going to have effects on all of these other healthy behaviors. Because if you don't have a lot of energy, you're not motivated to work out. If you didn't sleep enough, often you feel that you have more cravings during the day for sugar because you are low in energy. And not enough sleep gives you more stress because you don't have enough energy to be productive, and so on. So these all influence each other. Same, for example, with nutrition. If you're not eating healthy, this is going to give your body a lot of stress because you don't have the right nutrition to function. And if you're not eating healthy, maybe eating a lot of sugar and caffeine in the evening, you're not going to sleep well. And if you're not eating healthy, your workout maybe is not gonna go good because you don't have healthy nutrition, healthy sugars, or healthy protein to do your workout. So it's really important that you don't see health aspects as like different rooms, like they are all in the same room. They are influencing each other. And I really think that sleep is really the most important one we should look at. If you don't have enough sleep and low quality sleep, this is the first thing we need to look at, because it has such a big influence on the rest of your habits. The good thing is, if you change it the way back around, if you are going to have good sleep, oh man, you're gonna have like a good ripple effect on all of the others. It's gonna become more easy to move. It's gonna become more easy to eat healthy. You'll have less stress, more energy, and with that, everything is gonna go more easy. So yeah, it's all intertwined with each other. The sixth one is that social media and books and whatever make us believe that we have all of the healthy options and it's our own responsibility to be healthy. But guess what? Research actually showed that healthy options are not available in the same amount for everybody. It really depends on your social status, your work, your family situation, your stress, your, maybe your hormonal health, all of these things. And we think that everything is our responsibility, but we also need to give ourselves a little bit of space for this. Because, for example, if you have a low income and you may be living in a poorer neighborhood, and maybe your environment is the same like yours, often this is gonna give you less healthy options, because the supermarkets are gonna have more fast food, more cheap, sugary food that are on promotion. Your environment maybe won't have time to be healthy, or think they won't have time to be healthy, or they don't have enough energy. So maybe you're surrounded by unhealthy people, and so on. And this is all gonna influence you a lot. And I think we need to give ourselves some slack and really see that all of this pressure we have, that we all should go to the gym and all should buy organic food and blah, 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 that maybe this is not necessarily meant for you. I think that it's really important that you just see what is available for you, and that is affordable, that is easy and accessible. Maybe you are a really busy mother, and maybe it's easier for you to do one-on-one health coaching with me instead of having to drive very far and having, maybe you don't have any time, but you do have money maybe. Like, it really, really depends. So really look at your personal situation, at what is available for you and what you need. Yeah, this is just one big thing I learned in my university degree, is that we all have this really American view of that health is like 100% our own responsibility, and it's just not. Like, it's also the role of the government to make healthy options affordable for everybody, no matter your income, no matter where you live, no matter how busy you are. Okay, next one, number 7. This one is also really interesting. So this is all about emotion. So emotion is actually something important in health coaching and the work that I do, because emotions are often root causes of unhealthy behavior. And they can also be something we can use for change. So, one of the things that's important is when you're in your health transformation, is that you make some space for your emotions. What is the emotion that is underlaying on constant snacking? What is the emotion underlaying at binge watching series in the middle of the night? Which emotion is supporting my unhealthy habit? For example, I have a lot of clients who do or emotional eating, emo eating. And the thing is, my clients, they are gonna binge food trying to fill up some kind of hole. But this hole is not physical, it's emotional, so it's never gonna be filled with food. So that's why they have this uncontrollable food binge moments, that they want to snack a lot, they want to eat really a lot of food, because actually there's this gap that they're feeling emotionally that is ignored, that is wants to have attention, and it's kind of like screaming at us through our appetite. So yeah, negative emotions are not negative because they are trying to tell us something, and it's us, we have to listen to those emotions and see what they want to share, see what they need, and then give them something more healthy. Maybe when you are feeling lonely, it's better to go on Bumble BFF and find friends, or go to some hobby club and play padel, whatever. Be social, instead of when you're feeling lonely, you're gonna go in emotional eating or binge watching. So this is just like a short example, but yeah, emotions are information and are important in health transformation. Please don't ignore them. Next one, also really one that I like, number 8. Focus on what you want to create, what you want to change, instead of just what you want to stop. Maybe talking about maybe let's take food again. So instead of thinking, I want to stop eating unhealthy food, I want to stop eating sugar, instead of focusing on this, let's focus on something that is like a good alternative. Like, oh, I want to eat more healthy. I want to eat more fresh fruits. I want to have more healthy snacks. Maybe I'm gonna add more vegetables to my lunch next time. So it's more interesting to create healthy alternatives than focusing on what we just gonna stop. So we need something instead of the unhealthy pattern. So the last one was, it's important to look at the root causes like, for example, your emotions, but then it's also good to focus on what we want to change and positive behavior to give us a positive feeling and something we can change, something we can put energy to, instead of just focusing on what is going bad. Then number 9 is tracking. Track your behavior so you can reveal certain patterns and you can also see the changes you make. So let's track unhealthy behavior and let's track healthy behavior. So tracking is one of the evidence-based methods in health transformation, because if we just rely on pure motivation, discipline, and memory, that is often not going to be enough. It's also important to track. So this could mean having a list of all the times during the day that you're doing the unhealthy behavior. And then in your health transformation, it's really important to track when you are doing the healthy alternative. So for example, if you want to do a walk every day, you can put like a list on your fridge with every day, and then like having to check a box every evening to check if you're actually doing the walk or not. This is going to motivate you, but it's also going to help you after every week, after every month, to check what's going well, maybe what's holding you back. So this could also be reflective writing around your habits. That's also really really interesting. You could, for example, every week take a moment that you are going to write about your health transformation. What's working, what's not working, what your obstacles are, what your goals are, and so on. And then the last one. This is about relapse prevention. It's very important that when you take some sort of misstep in your health transformation, that you don't see this as a failure. Like health process is not linear, it's actually cyclical. So often you're gonna have setbacks. Maybe you're gonna have days that you're not doing your healthy new behavior, you're going back to your unhealthy pattern. But this is not just a simple journey from A to B. You are a human, and this is a human process. And one of the most important things is that when you quit for a day or you take a step back, is that you don't see this as an absolute failure, but that you can learn from this, and that you can also give you some slack. And then instead of thinking that you have to start from zero, you can just go back, forget about that day that it didn't work, and then just do it again better tomorrow, and learn from your mistakes and give yourself a little bit of slack. Like we're not perfect, and don't try to expect this from yourself, because it's not good to put too much pressure on yourself. Health journey is fun, you know. Every time you're gonna break unhealthy patterns, you're gonna learn new patterns. This is gonna give you motivation, gonna give you more energy, and I hope you really enjoy this process. That's it. Like relapse prevention is really important. So during your health transformation, also think about what sort of obstacles you're gonna have in the future and how you can deal with them. Okay, that's what I have for you today. As you can see, health is such an interesting topic. I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and this university year has learned me much more than I can tell you in this 30 minutes, because it's literally a university degree, so you have no clue how much time I put in all of these subjects and all of the tasks I did, the group works, and all of those. But it was so interesting, and I can really tell that I am a much better health coach today than I was a year ago, even though I already thought that I was doing a great job. Like I feel like I have learned so much more about the root causes of health and what actually helps and what actually are influential factors and so on. So I can help my clients in a more individual way without having like a fixed plan for everybody. Like I really feel that everybody is different and need a different approach. And yeah, let me know which lesson you found really interesting. I would really love it if you would give this podcast a 5-star review. That would mean the world to me. This way I can reach more people and can make more people healthy. So that would be wonderful. Definitely listen to the second episode, because this was all about my first university degree year, and the second episode is gonna be about all the lessons that I learned in my second year. Thank you and have a wonderful day.